All right, let's jump right in. We all think we know what time is, right? I mean, it's the clock on the wall, the calendar on your phone. Simple. But what if I told you that our whole everyday understanding of it, that's just scratching the surface of a story that is so much deeper and honestly, a whole lot stranger?
So, that brings us to the big one. The question that sounds so simple but is actually kind of impossible. What is time? Now seriously, try to define it right now. Go on. It's tough, isn't it? Is it some fundamental force of the universe? Or is it just, a concept we made up to organize our lives? Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into.
Just think back for a second. Think about your own life. Remember being a kid when summer holidays felt like they stretched on forever? The days were just long and lazy, measured by when the sun came up and went down. Time didn't really matter. But now, as an adult, life is a constant race against the clock, right? Meetings, deadlines, schedules. It's totally different. And that dramatic shift in how we feel time, well, that's not just in our heads. It's actually a huge clue.
Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this mystery, we've got to go back in time ourselves, back to a massive scientific showdown. We're talking about a debate between two of the heaviest hitters in history, Isaac Newton versus Albert Einstein. And this wasn't just some academic squabble. This was a fight over the very nature of reality itself.
So in one corner, you've got Newton. His idea is, well, it's the one that makes the most sense to us. He called it absolute time. Basically, he thought the entire universe ran on one single master clock, like a giant cosmic metronome, just ticking away, tick-tock, at the exact same speed for everyone and everything everywhere. Doesn't matter if you're here on Earth or on the other side of the galaxy, the time is the same. Simple, right?
But then, along comes Einstein, and he just throws that whole idea out the window. He comes in with this totally wild concept he called relational time. He basically said, forget the universal metronome. There isn't one. Instead, time isn't this background thing that just happens. No, it's actually created by the relationship between events. The analogy here is perfect. Think of a band playing without a drummer. They're not following a beat, they're making the beat by how they play off each other. That, according to Einstein, is what time actually is.
So, we've got these two completely opposite ideas. Who was right? Well, here's the kicker. After more than a century of mind-bending experiments and rigorous testing, we have a winner. Einstein. He was right. Time is not absolute. And folks, this is the point where reality starts to get very, very weird.
See, because if Einstein's right, it completely changes the game. It means you can't even think about time and space as separate things. They're actually woven together, like threads in a single sheet of fabric. He called it space-time. And get this fabric isn't just sitting there. It can be stretched, bent, and warped by massive objects, by gravity itself.
And I know this sounds like something out of science fiction, but it's not just a theory. We have seen it. We have measured it. Check this out. In 2010, scientists did an experiment. They took two of the most precise clocks on the planet, atomic clocks, and synced them up perfectly. Then they did something ridiculously simple. They just lifted one of them up by about a foot, just 12 inches. And you know what happened? The clock that was higher started ticking faster than the one on the floor. It's because it was just a tiny bit further away from Earth's gravity. I mean, think about that. Time itself literally flows at different speeds depending on how high up you are.
Wow. Okay, so if time can speed up and slow down, what on earth does that mean for the past, present, and future? Well, this is where you might want to hold on to your hat. It leads to this incredible idea called the block universe. And this quote really gets to the heart of it. The idea is that all moments in time, the dinosaurs, your birth, this exact moment, the distant future, are all equally real. The past isn't gone, and the future isn't yet to happen. They just exist, somewhere else on the timeline.
Let's try to picture this, because it's a big concept. Imagine the entire lifespan of the universe, from the very beginning to the very end, is baked into one giant cake, okay? That whole cake is the block universe. Now, what we experience as the present, as right now, is just one incredibly thin slice of that cake. But here's the twist. Because time is relative, like we just talked about, your slice of now is actually different from my slice of now. There's no single universal now that we're all sharing. We each have our own slice.
All right, that's the universe level, mind-bending physics of it all. But let's bring it back down to Earth. Let's bring it right inside our own skulls. Because it turns out the time we experience every second of every day, it's not just something we're watching go by. Nope, it's something our brain is actively, constantly constructing for us.
Have you ever been in a really scary situation, like a near miss in a car or a sudden fall? You know that feeling people talk about where everything seems to happen in slow motion? Well, time itself isn't actually slowing down. What's happening is your brain goes into hyperdrive. Your survival instincts kick in and it starts recording memories with way more detail, way more density than usual. So later, when your brain plays that memory back, it's packed with so much information that it feels like it must have taken way longer than it actually did.
Here's an even simpler example of how your brain is constantly editing reality for you. Snap your fingers. Go ahead. When you do that, the sound hits your ears and gets processed by your brain way, way faster than the light from the snap hits your eyes and gets processed. There's a delay. But you don't experience that delay, do you? It feels simultaneous. That's because your brain is a clever little editor. It gets the sound signal first, holds on to it for a split second, waits for the sight signal to catch up, and then stitches them together and presents you with one neat, unified story, the snap. It's a trick.
So what's the big takeaway from all this brain editing? Well, it's pretty wild. Because it takes a fraction of a second for your brain to gather up all the sights and sounds and feelings and then assemble them into the movie we call consciousness, it means one thing. Your perception of now is never truly now. It's always lagging just a tiny bit behind the real world. So technically, we are all living right now in the very, very recent past.
Okay, let's pull these two threads together. On one hand, you have physics, telling us that the universe doesn't really have a flow of time. Past, present, future, they all just exist. On the other hand, you have neuroscience, telling us that our internal feeling of time flowing is a story our brain makes up. So, if the universe says it isn't real, and our brain is just inventing it, what does that mean for, well, everything?
It's a huge idea to wrestle with, but Einstein himself summed it up perfectly. He once said that the distinction we make between past, present, and future is really just a stubbornly persistent illusion. Think about that. That feeling we all have, that we're on a river of time, moving from a past that's gone forever towards a future that doesn't exist yet, that might be nothing more than a powerful, useful illusion our minds create to help us navigate a much stranger reality.
So I'll just leave you with this to chew on. If that solid line we draw between the past, the present, and the future is really just an illusion, a trick of physics, and a story told by our brains, what does that do to everything else? What does it mean for our memories, for our regrets? And what does it mean for our hopes and dreams for the future? If it's all just there, what does that change?
It's definitely something to think about.